Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our presentation on our online Master of Science in Management, also known as the iMSM program at Gies Business. My name is Casey Jones, and I'm going to be leading today's session. I'm the Director of Recruitment and Admissions for both our online programs at Gies Business, as well as our on-campus graduate programs. I'm really excited to be joined by one of my colleagues, Natalie, who will be helping out within the chat. So if you have any questions throughout today's presentation, feel free to put those either in the chat or the Q&A. Natalie will be providing responses throughout the presentation. And if we have any that we'd like to chat through live, we'll save a little bit of time for that as well. Also joined by one of our current students in the iMSM program. Ashley, would you mind doing a quick introduction of yourself, where you're joining from, what you do professionally, and maybe what led you to the iMSM program?
Sure. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. I'm Ashley Zeman. I'm the Senior Director of Marketing Strategy at Elgin Community College, a community college in the western suburbs of Chicago, Illinois. And I started the iMSM program last October, and I was really looking to grow my business fundamental skill set since I've been working in marketing for over 10 years, but have never taken an actual marketing class. So been learning a lot in the program.
Great. Thanks, Ashley. We'll be checking in with her throughout the session today to learn more about her experience. Ashley and I are both in Illinois, but we have learners joining us from all across the globe in our programs and typically in these webinars as well. So we do want to make this interactive. So we want to know where you're joining us from today. We're going to use a software called Poll Everywhere. Natalie's going to go ahead and drop a link into the chat. If you can go ahead and open up that link, just let us know where you're joining from today. Go ahead and keep that link open because we will utilize it throughout the presentation for a couple of other polls. You can also scan the QR code that's up in the upper right-hand corner there of our presentations, or copy and paste the link into your browser. So we'll pause for just a second and see if we get some responses rolling in. All right, getting a couple up on the screen, but also some in the chat. Looks like we've got California, Alberta, Canada. We've got someone joining from BC. Oh God, getting a little more international. Colombia. Well, I'm thinking of the country, Colombia. That might be a city. We've got Georgia, another from Canada. Great. So seeing a little bit of the diversity here, which you will continue to experience if you choose to join the iMSM program as well. I think it's really one of our key differentiators and allows a very unique opportunity to collaborate with individuals from across the globe, as well as across a variety of different industries. So great, our map's starting to fill up a little bit more. Okay, so a quick agenda for today. We've done our welcome and introductions. I'm going to give a bit of a high-level overview of the University of Illinois, as well as Gies College of Business. I'm then going to share some of our key pillars of our online programs here within the College of Business. We'll do a deeper dive into the iMSM program itself. We'll talk about what the curriculum looks like, what the class structure is designed to simulate, what you can expect as some of the learning outcomes as well as career outcomes from the program. And then we'll wrap up with some of those application requirements, tips, and tricks. Again, pop your questions into the chat or the Q&A session throughout today's presentation, and then we'll leave a little time for them as well. Okay, so a little bit about the University of Illinois. If you are not familiar, we are a Tier 1 research institution, well known for some of the great stats that we have here up here on our slide deck. But really, one thing that I always like to emphasize is we are a land grant institution committed to providing life-changing access to education. It's one of our goals, specifically with our online programs here in Gies. We are sharing the wealth that we have here through our very talented faculty with learners across the globe, and trying to do so at a much lower price point than many of our peer competitors. In particular, it's one of the reasons that I love our iMSM program. In addition to some of the stats up here, we have one of the biggest library systems in the United States with over 24 million items available, both to students on campus as well as our online learners. And we are also the #1 rated most disability-friendly campus in the US. Again, that's for both students who are here in Champaign-Urbana with us, but also a lot of resources available to learners in our online programs through our Department of Resources. I'm gonna flip that slide over. In terms of Gies College of Business, we were named Gies about 6 years ago, thanks to a very generous donation from one of our alums, Larry Gies, and his wife, Beth. We've received a lot of accolades over the past couple of years, specifically thanks to the success of our online programs, but also our longstanding college with a large number, 81,000, the number up there on the screen, of alums. So you're going to have access to that full alumni base, both as a current student and an alum of yourself, and have ample opportunities for networking with that large alumni group. We've been named the #1 biggest business school innovation of the decade by Poets and Quants. Our accounting faculty continue to be rated in the top 3. This year, we're at #1 by BYU accounting faculty ratings. That's based on their research, but also very talented in teaching as well. Our online MBA program was also named MBA Program of the Year by Poets and Quants publication, and we are a top 10 public undergraduate business school. Okay, I said we'd talk about it. Some of the pillars of our online programs, again, we've really designed these programs to be online by design. So our online programs weren't just a shift from the pandemic, but really started thinking about these very specifically, probably back in 2014, about 10 years ago, launched our first degree, which is our online MBA program in 2016. We have a fully online Master of Science in Accountancy as well, which was launched in 2018. And then our newest degree program, which is the Master of Science in Management, kicked off in 2020. All of our programs are designed for a working professional. They are 100% fully online. However, the engagement component of our coursework and our programs as a whole is very important to us. So we'll talk about the design of the courses a little bit more in later slides, but our programs are designed to be flexible yet engaging through group work and live lectures with our faculty. Our programs are also designed to be flexible in the amount of time to complete the degree. So most students are taking 8-week courses, taking 2 or just 1 course at a time, and provides flexibility in the amount of hours that you're spending each week, as well as the duration of your full program. Our courses and our programs are also designed to be stackable. So if you're not ready for a full degree program just yet, you could start with a smaller credential, such as a graduate certificate, or even an open enrollment course, which is offered on our partner platform, Coursera. Lets you begin today, really get a taste of the foundational component of our courses, and then later take that work that you've completed and stack it into a full 4-credit course or degree as desired. And then finally, as I've already shared, our programs are online by design. This is not just a faculty member sitting in front of the Zoom screen, but a lot of work that goes behind the scenes to make sure this is a great experience for our students, both through that foundational textbook on Coursera, but also the live lectures. We have a full team of what we call teaching and learning professionals that are working behind the scenes to make sure things are well thought out and prepared, operating smooth. We have a number of course assistants and TAs to help triage and answer some of those more general questions, which really allows the freedom for our faculty to tackle bigger challenges. I'm going to share a little bit more about that stackable design in case you're interested on this next slide. So again, today we're talking about our degree programs and in particular the iMSM. But if you are interested in starting with something a little bit smaller, we do have graduate certificates, which are 12 credit hours, typically 3 courses. They earn you a transcriptable degree from the University of Illinois and can be a great addition to a resume or a LinkedIn profile. You can also take just a single individual course to start out with, or even one of those open enrollment courses to start. And really, there's another block that we could add on here, which is the ability to stack our iMSM program later into our program. So if you're not sure of the commitment or exactly which degree is right for you, you could certainly start with the iMSM. And then once completing that degree, either immediately or a couple of years later, come back and get a second credential with our online MBA program. I'm going to pause for just a second. Ashley, can you tell us a little bit about your journey? Did you jump right into the iMSM? You knew you wanted the degree, or did you take any of these alternative paths in?
Yeah, so I did jump right into the iMSM program because my goal was really focused on getting the master's degree credential for career advancement. I work in higher education, and many of the people at my level already have master's degrees, and to advance to higher levels within the organization, sort of an expectation that you have at least a master's degree. So I was really focused on that. However, I did opt to earn one of the certificates along the way, the 3 course certificates. So that's been great to have that on my LinkedIn and on my resume along the way to be able to show the progress that I'm making. And then every single MOOC course that you take on Coursera, you can get a credential and add that to your LinkedIn profile as well. So as I'm completing courses throughout the program, I've been sharing those achievements on my LinkedIn. And it just kind of helps share, with others in your professional network what you're learning and how you're growing professionally.
Great, thanks, Ashley. Some really good call outs there. We do like to recognize the success and progression throughout the duration of the program. That ability to actually earn a graduate certificate while in your degree program was just launched this past spring. So it's a really nice credential that you can take away midstream and again, present on your LinkedIn profile or resume. I think it's a nice little success for yourself and reward as you're moving through the program as well. I'm gonna put another poll up on the screen. We're gonna dive a little deeper into the iMSM program and want to learn maybe what's holding you back. Maybe you're early in your search and you're just looking to gain more information, but maybe you're a little further along and have some hesitations. We want to make sure we address those today. Ashley, while I get that pop back up there, could you share did you explore other programs? Did you know Illinois was kind of the right fit for you? What did your journey look like into you said you knew you'd wanted the degree, right? But tell us a little bit about your search process.
Sure. So I had been considering graduate school for probably about 8 years before actually starting with Gies. And I had done a lot of research in a lot of different programs and even worked in recruiting for online graduate degree programs. But I didn't find Gies until more recently. And I think, with the program being so innovative and new and different from a lot of the others, it really stood out to me because of the affordability aspect, the flexibility being fully online. Um, So I had done a lot of research, but it wasn't until I found the Gies program that I was really ready to kind of make that leap into actually starting a program because I was very concerned about cost, time commitment. I have two kids and I work full time. So I knew that I needed a program that was going to be really flexible and built for working professionals. So when I found the Gies program, I was really interested in it, not only because of the affordability, but also just the caliber of University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, just being from Illinois, knowing that it's one of the top colleges in the state, and what a great reputation the institution has, and it being more affordable than a lot of the other publicly funded programs in the state. I was just really blown away by that. So that was really exciting.
Good. Thanks, Ashley. It looks like a lot of people from our poll are concerned about that time commitment. While we're here, can you share a little bit about what your course load looks like, what that equates to each week for you in terms of a time commitment, and how you balance that with your professional and personal commitments?
Sure. So you can choose how many classes you want to take at one time. Each class is 8 weeks, and they are you can take, one at a time, you can take two at a time, you can take three at a time. So it's kind of up to you. So that's one thing that I really liked. Personally, I only was interested in taking one class at a time because they are pretty accelerated. But you're still able then to get two classes done within one semester if you take one 8 week and then another 8 week in one semester. So that's the path that I've opted to take because I do work full time and I have children. And I probably spend, I'd say like between 10 and 15 hours a week on my assignments. I try to just earmark time on nights and weekends to work on my coursework. And it's, everything is delivered at the beginning of the class through the syllabus as far as what all the assignments are, when everything's due, what the expectations are. So I just kind of try to look at that and plan ahead and just kind of know exactly what I need to get done and when I need to get that done. But I do feel like it's been manageable, especially because the live sessions, there's 3 different live sessions that you can choose from each week. So depending on my schedule, if I have like a curriculum night or something for my kids and it conflicts with one of the live sessions, I can choose a different live session that week, or I can watch a recording of the live session. So really there's always going to be a way to access the information and the content, even if you can't join live. I do love joining live because you get to do breakout rooms, talk to, the faculty and the students. So I've gained a lot through attending live. So I'd highly recommend that. But if for some reason something comes up and you can't make a live session, you do have that ability to watch the recordings or rewatch a recording if there was something that you're getting tripped up on or you need to reference again later.
Okay, great. Thank you. So Ashley kind of talked about the time commitment. I think she's spot on with that 10 to 15 hours of work per week per course, which is what we typically recommend. And most students are taking 1 or 2 courses per 8-week session. The other thing that we've got here that looks like it's come up is the cost and the ROI. So we'll certainly make sure to take some time to discuss each of those as we move forward. Before we do that, before we really jump in, I do want to talk just briefly on what is a management degree. I think we most commonly hear about that MBA. So this iMSM is a little bit unique in the market. It was originally designed for early career professionals, maybe those that didn't meet our 3-year work experience requirement. But what we've really seen is this program can be a great fit for individuals across their journey. So whether they are a fresh grad and looking to add business to that, or whether there's someone more experienced in their career looking to move into leadership, looking to make a transition in their career, or just strengthen what they've learned from the job with some of those technical business background, the academic side of things. This program can be a great fit really for anyone across that spectrum. It can be at times hard for students to determine, which is the right program for me. Is it the Master of Management? Is it the MBA program? And that sometimes is really a personal reflection. We have some recommendations, and our team is happy to talk with you through those if you're trying to make that differentiation. Ashley, anything you have to add about why you chose to go the MSM route versus the MBA?
Yeah, so for me, I was most just really looking for the most affordable and quickest path to a master's degree for career advancement reasons. But I loved that all of the curriculum in the MSM was stackable to the MBA so that if I decide to continue on, all of those credits can roll over and be applied to the MBA. So I just loved the way that that was designed. But for me, with the master's kind of being the main goal here, I wanted to kind of get that credential as quickly and as affordably as possible.
Great, thanks. Jumping back over to our slides, I do want to make just one more note before, and I promise we're going to get to the details about the iMSM, but one of the questions we do get is, what does the I stand for? And it's really our way of differentiating that this is an online delivery of a program. However, the degree at the end of the day is a Master of Science in Management. Nothing on your diploma or your transcripts is going to state that it was an online program. If you took a diploma from our on-campus Master of Science in Management and from our online Master of Science in Management and put them side by side, there would be absolutely no differentiation there. Okay, so let's get into it. We did talk a little bit about the tuition and fees and the overall cost. That was some concerns that some of our prospective learners had. And while we think of this as an affordable degree, we certainly understand that $12,500 US is not, just a coffee at the coffee shop. Our program is designed to be charged per credit hour. So if you're someone like Ashley and just taking one course at a time, that does also help you to spread out the tuition over the duration of your program. So you're just being charged per credit hour that you're registered for, which is kind of a built-in payment plan. However, the university does also offer payment plans if you'd like to break that into monthly installments. We do offer a very limited number of scholarships for this program. If you're interested in applying for scholarship consideration, you do have to apply by our Priority 1 deadline, which is coming up in early October. We are looking for scholarship candidates based on their need, their academic standing, as well as their commitment to diversity and inclusion in the workforce or within the academic setting. So if you feel you're qualified and that financial assistance would be very important to you, we would encourage you to apply for that scholarship consideration. In terms of duration and length of the program, it is 36 credit hours to complete the degree, which equates to 9 courses at 4 credit hours each. We'll talk about those core and elective courses in just a little bit. The program's designed really to be completed in 1 to 2 years. However, you do have up to 60 months or 5 years as needed. So say something should come up professionally or personally and you need to take some time off, that's no problem. That's built in. To complete the degree in just the 1-year time frame, you need to typically be taking 2 courses every 8-week session. If you do one course per 8-week session, it'll take you about 2 years. We are very flexible in our start dates as well. So since our courses run in 8-week sessions, we have 5 8-week start points throughout each year. We've just wrapped up admissions for our October start of 2024, but we are recruiting and admitting for a spring 2025 start with the option of beginning in either January or March. A little bit about our class profile for our iMSM program. As I mentioned, we really initially intended this for a younger audience, but we found it's just as good of a fit for someone with a little experience. So 34 is the average age, 9 years of work experience. About 70% domestic learners, 32% international learners, and those learners are coming from across the globe, with 86 countries represented, in most states here in the US. You're also going to get a little bit, or not a little bit, excuse me, a lot of variety in the different types of learners and students that you'll interact with in this program. Students coming from 144 of the Fortune 500 companies, but also learners that are coming from their own startups and entrepreneurial pursuits, coming from small organizations, nonprofit organizations. And I think all of that really helps you put a new lens and look at things on those conversations in the classroom. Ashley, could you share a little bit about your experience working with some of the students in the program?
Yeah, definitely a diverse group of students. It's not uncommon to have uh, fellow students from all across the country and across the group working on a group project. This most recent group project, I had members in my team from the Netherlands and Singapore, California, Kentucky. So we were all over the place. So it's really fun actually to be able to meet people that speak different languages, from different cultures, from different, places of the US, and working in all different industries as well.
Any unique students that come to mind for you?
I know I just met someone from Brazil at iConverge a couple days ago, so that was pretty cool. That he flew all the way into Illinois from Brazil just to meet all of his fellow students. That was great.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll talk about iConverge. It was just last week, so we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. I know one of the questions that we had, or one of the concerns, was also about the return on investment. Obviously flows right into the cost as well. So a few stats from our alums: 42% reported receiving a promotion or new job opportunity while in the program. So again, that immediate return on investment. You're not always waiting for the degree at the end of the day, but really what you're learning in the classroom can be applied immediately. And then with those micro credentials along the way, those are going to be things that you can start to display on your LinkedIn and resumes as well. 28% is the average pay increase, and then 94% overall satisfaction with the program. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the curriculum. So as I previously mentioned, 9 courses are required to complete the degree. 6 of those are core courses, which cover some of your fundamental business topics and accounting, leadership, operations management, marketing, and an intro to finance. And then you have that ability to customize your degree with some of the electives that are listed here. So again, you can dive deeper into specific topics, and we do have some suggested pairings of our elective courses, or you can really take a mix and match. One thing that's a little bit unique about our program are there are no prerequisites for courses. So most courses are offered 2 times a year, and you are free to take those courses as it best fits your profile, your desired outcomes, and your schedule, of course. So if you're really feel like you're missing in finance, you can jump right into that course. If you're a little fearful for finance, you could save it for later in your degree planning. We talked about this program being online by design. All of our courses, excuse me, are designed in 2 components. So we have what we refer to as the asynchronous component on the Coursera platform. I often refer to it as the virtual textbook for the course. So you're going to have some pre-recorded videos, self-assessed quizzes, sometimes some peer-reviewed assignments. The Coursera component can be done right alongside the synchronous component on the Canvas platform, or it can actually be done in advance. Some of you may have learned about this program from the Coursera platform. You might already be working through this component of the curriculum. We pair that, however, with the synchronous component, which is what you may typically expect going into a physical classroom. However, it's fully online. So this includes weekly live lectures. Ashley mentioned some of the breakout rooms with peers in the program. You're going to have some group projects and case studies that you're working on. And then most courses are going to have some type of individual or team assignments, quizzes, and exams. Ashley touched on it. Most of our courses offer multiple sessions of weekly live lectures. So that gives you additional flexibility of when to attend. We do always encourage you to attend that live lecture, but they are recorded, available to watch on demand as needed. And then all of our faculty are going to offer office hours. So an opportunity for a little more in-depth conversation, maybe following up on something that wasn't clear from the live lecture, or just diving in deeper on that discussion with your faculty and peers. Our next slide just shows a couple of our faculty teaching in our very high-tech studios. You can also see some of our support staff here that help facilitate. In total, we have 215 full-time faculty members in Gies College of Business. And really, it's some of our best and brightest that are teaching in our online programs. They love teaching kind of the more experienced learner profile, having those conversations. A lot of our faculty and students in the program have developed some deep relationships. This is another sample of what a live lecture looks like.
Hello and welcome from wherever in the world you are. One thing you'll know by now, you'd realize.
Sorry about that. We're going to get back on. I shouldn't click around.
You are not going to be able to just sit back. Got excited.
Absolutely.
I do not believe in exams. It will be a collaborative event, something you do over time with others. And that's what we do in this class. I want you to put up your hands and tell me 2 associations from the case.
Tradition comes to mind.
Associated with a working man.
Also inexpensive and very accessible.
And my classes by saying, all of you, go out in the world and be successful.
So that's just a little sampling of Hayden Noel. He's one of our marketing management professors, does a great job engaging with our students during the live lectures. But all of our faculty have their own unique approach to online learning. Ashley, can you talk a little bit about maybe what some of your favorite coursework has been thus far, or favorite faculty member that you've had to interact with?
Yeah, I love that Professor Noel was highlighted in that video, because he's definitely been a standout professor for me with his energy and his positivity and enthusiasm for learning. He always says cameras on as like sort of a default, because he said happy students learn better. And so he likes to see our facial expressions and kind of feel the energy and reactions. He shows a lot of really cool videos to kind of exemplify the things that we're learning that we can discuss about. But just overall, yeah, I feel like all of the classes have been very engaging. I was a little bit nervous coming in because I'd never taken an online class before and I thought it might be boring. But the technical direction, as you guys kind of saw behind the scenes there, my first class was BATM 509, managing organizations, and I literally was like so blown away the first day of class. I felt like I was watching like Sports Center or something, because there's lots of different camera angles. They show the slides, and then they show the faculty. Sometimes the faculty bring in props, or they tell personal stories. Sometimes they start the classes by playing music that's motivational or inspirational. So every faculty member kind of brings their own spin on it and does their own unique things to kind of make the class really fun and engaging. But I've really appreciated all the unique things that each faculty member does to kind of make their class different.
Good. I'd love to hear it. I always think that sets us apart too. And our teaching and learning team continues to make advancement in all the technology that they utilize. We're actually building a brand new building here at Gies Business called Weimer Hall. And a big component of that is studio space. So again, it's not just us sitting here doing a kind of dry lecture on Zoom, but really incorporating all those different fun components throughout the presentation as well. Ashley, you hit on it. We're going to transition a little bit outside of the classroom and talk about networking and options to connect with students outside of the classes. Again, I think this is something that sets our programs apart from a lot of our peers is while you're getting a very high quality degree, we fully understand that a lot of students go into a graduate business program really for that networking opportunities. Not only does it help you in your career, I think it just helps you, continue to be engaged and motivated. Before I share, can you share a little bit about what opportunities you've had to network or engage outside of the classroom?
Yeah, so all students have access to an online platform called Workplace that is sort of like a Facebook for the program where you can engage with all the various students. There's lots of different groups in there. So you can find other students from your geographic area. Students coordinate meetups that you can attend. There's webinars and professional development opportunities on there that you can take advantage of. So that's been great, outside of those larger opportunities like iConverge to connect, either virtually or just kind of in smaller groups on there. And then just through the classwork as well, you meet people. Every course has some sort of group work component. So you'll get paired with 5 or 6 other people each class that you kind of get to know throughout the semester as you're working on projects. And I've kept in touch with some of those folks via LinkedIn, or maybe someone's working at a company that I have interest in. I could set up a one-on-one with that person to learn more about their company or any opportunities that they might have. So, by just nature of doing the classes, you're going to meet a lot of people, but then taking advantage of those additional professional development opportunities, whether virtual or in person, there's a lot of great ways to be engaged and to be involved. The IGBA is another graduate association that is student run, that they have a lot of great events and, networking opportunities through that as well.
Good, thank you. So Ashley hit on most of the great opportunities. I'm going to share just a little bit more about them, and maybe one that we didn't touch on to kick things off, and that is our immersion. So in addition to all of the kind of more localized opportunities Ashley talked about, we do offer an opportunity for 1 or 2 currently global immersions each year. Just this past summer, we took a group of students between our iMSM, iMBA, and our online Master of Science in Accountancy students to Singapore and Malaysia in early summer, and then a trip to South Africa in later summer. These are completely optional opportunities. They do come at an additional cost, but a great way to connect with fellow classmates, to do a hands-on project with an internationally based business, and experience a part of the globe that you may not do on your own personal time. So if you have an opportunity to partake in one of these immersions, I certainly encourage you to do so. We also still do some virtual immersions. We have one coming up with an organization in Japan in just a couple of months. Those started during the pandemic and were so successful that we've continued forward with them. And then we will be bringing back some of our domestic or US-based immersions, hope to do so in 2025. iConverge, which Ashley talked about, this slide and stats are from last year's event, but we actually hosted iConverge 2024 just this past weekend. We're really still settling down from that. iConverge is an annual event on campus, typically held each September. A great opportunity to see the campus, to meet with fellow students. We had a lot of faculty that were present as well. We bring in some guest speakers, a lot of opportunity for networking, and we typically wrap things up with a football game, tailgate and football game on the Saturday, the final day of the event as well. As Ashley shared, she met a fellow learner from Brazil. I know I spoke with someone from Japan. India was represented. It's really quite amazing, the breadth of students that travel in to take advantage of this opportunity each year. So I always encourage all learners to attend at least once throughout the duration of their program. But we also had alums in attendance this past weekend that were on their like 6th or 7th trip to campus for this event. So really exciting time. We touched on Workplace, which is our kind of social media platform, a closed Facebook group, if you will, for students in our programs, but then you can join smaller subgroups based on courses you're taking, interests you have, maybe your geography. And this can be a great way to connect virtually, but also plan some of those smaller in-person meetups that happen quite frequently. So the program does a number of meetups each year. Typically when our faculty and staff are traveling, we'll host a meetup. But students will also get together on their own. Maybe it's connections that they've made from an immersion or iConverge, or just posting through those workplace groups and getting together for coffee, drinks, or a little study table. So these are just a few of the student meetups that have happened across the globe recently. In addition to all of that great networking, we also provide a variety of different resources for our students outside of the classroom. So we have a fully dedicated student and academic success team. You may think of those as your traditional academic advisors in an on-campus program. They're there to assist you along your journey, making sure you've met those degree requirements. If something should pop up and you need to withdraw yourself from a course, they'll walk you through what that looks like. They're available in a variety of different ways. So of course you can send the email, or you can pop in and have a one-on-one Zoom conversation with them, do an open office hours to hear from other students as well. It's a combination of our recruitment team as well as our student services team that will onboard you into the program. And these are dedicated professionals that are really trained for working with online students. So very available and open to the needs of professional working adults and learners. Also want to talk a little bit about the career resources in our programs. We don't provide traditional career services in terms of one-on-one career advising. It's something that our students don't pay additional fees for. It's part of the opportunity that we can keep costs low. However, we do provide a lot of resources for our learners, whether they're looking to make growth in their career or some type of larger transition. One of those is a workplace group where you can have conversations with peers in the program, maybe ask them to take a look over your resume, talk through some potential interview questions. Maybe you're having an interview with a big organization like Google or Amazon, and you want to get some firsthand feedback from other learners that work there. That's a great opportunity to start. We also offer some of these additional resources. Big Interview can help you have kind of a hands-on training, do a mock interview tailored to your industry and background. VMock does similar resume review and provides feedback on that. Handshake is a career job board posting. It really is more focused for our undergrad or on-campus graduate learners. So typically a little more entry-level positions, but if that's what you're looking for, it can be a great resource for you as well. Ashley, I want to pause. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pop up one more poll, final poll, and then we'll pause and talk with Ashley a little more. So we're going to talk about the application requirements. Before we do that, this poll, if there's anything that's concerning you about the application process, go ahead and let us know. And again, we'll make sure we spend a little bit of extra time on it. Ashley, while we do that, have you had a chance to connect with the student services team, or maybe it's a course assistant that you've conversed with, anything along those lines, and can you share your experience?
Yeah, so I've taken advantage of the one-on-one Zoom advising for help developing an ed plan, kind of mapping out what courses I was going to take which semesters. And there's actually an online portal that you can use to kind of really plot out exactly what you're going to take what semesters. So that's been really helpful because once I created that ed plan, I really haven't had to go back much for additional advising unless I, need to change something. I've generally been following that plan, but the advisors have been really helpful and kind of speaking to me about my interests and what classes might be good to choose as electives or what emphasis area that I want to pursue. And then also helping me kind of understand like which classes might be a little bit heavier on workload or lighter, depending on what I have going on personally and professionally during those times. And also they made some good recommendations on starter classes, just starting out those first couple classes, what would be good ones to take to kind of ease into the program.
Good. Yeah, that's really good information too. We talked about taking one course versus two courses and what's best for you. They can certainly help provide those recommendations. Maybe you're ebbing and flowing between those based on your workload or your kids' sports schedule, and they can provide recommendations. These are courses that compare nicely together based on the amount of work. These are courses that maybe pair together based on your particular background, and then certainly help you with those elective choices too, and provide some additional insight there. Well, great. Looks like we've got a couple of responses to our, let's switch over. I was going to say, we're not seeing our responses, but here we go. So recommendations look like they're coming in number one. So we'll certainly talk through that. It's not nearly as scary as it may sound. And then we've got a couple others. So our transcripts, resume, personal statement, all of the above. So we'll talk through it all. Okay, so what is needed for the application process? We really do try to make this as simplified as possible, but we do want to get to know you, both your academic as well as your professional background, but then also know a little bit about you as a person and what you're looking to gain from this program. So first and foremost, we are looking for an updated copy of your resume. We do ask you to limit that to typically about 2 pages. And I also ask you to think about who may be potentially reading this resume. So if you have a very strong technical background, remember that you're not applying for a technical program or a technical position. So maybe a little more simplified version of that resume would be helpful to our resume readers. You're looking to go into more of a management program, right? So highlight those skills within your resume. We're also looking for all your academic history. So any degree that you've completed, we are going to need a full copy of your transcripts and/or mark sheets. If you've done schooling outside of the US, we're typically going to need a certificate of diploma uploaded as well. And we are going to need all of those documents, both in their native language as well as a certified English translation. At the application stage, we just need unofficial copies of all of those documents, scanned and uploaded into your application. If and when admitted, we will require official documents. So if you'd like to begin to prepare those, that's great, but you do have a window of time to submit those official documents following admission to the program and actually following the start of your coursework. Our graduate college does require an academic statement, which is just sharing a little more about your professional and academic background and also why you're looking to pursue this program. And then we do ask you to answer 2 short answer personal questions, and then there are 2 optional questions that as well that really allow you to fill in any blanks. Maybe you've had a significant gap in your employment, or you had, a semester or 2 of undergrad that you feel didn't display your full strength. This is a great opportunity to talk about that in those optional statements. 2 recommendation forms. Note that we say forms rather than letters. Your recommenders are welcome to submit a standard letter if they'd like to do so. But we've actually prepared a short series of questions for them that is really what we're looking for out of that recommender. So your part as the applicant is to talk to your potential recommenders and ask them to provide that recommendation for you. Then you're going to enter your contact information into the application system, their contact information, excuse me. From there, you're welcome to go ahead and submit your application if you'd like. You can go back at a later date and double check that the recommendations have been submitted. You can send reminders to your recommenders if needed. Your recommender will receive an email with a link to fill out their recommendation form. It really should take them no more than 5 to 10 minutes to complete. So you might want to talk with them about that when you're asking them to be your recommender. We do request that recommendations are from a professional reference, if at all possible. If you don't have that, we will consider academic references. But again, strongly recommend the professional if possible. A current or former supervisor is always preferred. For international learners, we do require an English proficiency score. We do accept the TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo. We do have some exceptions. So if you've studied or worked in a country where English is the primary language for 2 or more years, you can be eligible for a waiver. You can also be eligible if you work in a country where English is not the primary language, but maybe your day-to-day interactions at work are in English. You can submit a waiver essay. Our team will review that and let you know whether that's going to be acceptable or we will require the score. We have never required the GMAT or GRE for our online programs. Always welcome to submit a score. It can supplement an application, but certainly not required. We talked about that the scholarship opportunity. If you would like to apply for scholarship consideration, an additional essay will be required, and there's a prompt within the application to do so. So those are the standard requirements for the application. I do want to state that we review applications on a holistic basis. So we're looking at a combination of all of the things above. If you feel that you have some weakness in your application, you are welcome to apply to our performance-based admissions track. That performance-based admissions track allows you to take a series of 3 courses as a non-degree student, and if you perform well in those, earn admission into the degree program. It does still require all the same admission or application components, and we'll go through the same application review process that we talk about on our next slide, but it's certainly an option that you can either apply directly into or may be recommended by our team. So let's talk about what happens after you submit that application. Our team will begin an initial review of it. If there's any missing materials or we're still waiting on some of those references, we will reach out and let you know. We begin to start evaluating those applications as soon as possible, and all students that are admitted into the degree program are invited for an online interview. So if you kind of pass that first round, we'll be in touch with an interview invitation. That interview will take place on the Zoom platform, either with a member of our staff or one of our alums of the program. And then following that interview, we can typically get you a decision. We're very generous here or safe and say 2 to 3 weeks, but it's typically 1 to 2 weeks after the interview process. All of you are well prepared for spring 2025. I also saw someone interested in summer of 2025. in the chat earlier. You've still got plenty of time to prepare your application for that first spring deadline, which is October 3rd. If you apply earlier for a term, there's some benefits. We waive the application fee for you. You can apply for that scholarship consideration. And then if admitted to the program, you can begin taking advantage of some of those networking opportunities. You can get started on your Coursera component of the coursework, and you can get onboarded and registered for your first semester of courses. If you don't make that October deadline, we do certainly have some more options to start with us. You can begin classes in January or March in the spring semester. And so you really have up until December 2nd to apply to begin in January, or February 6th to apply to begin in March, but you kind of start to lose some of those priority benefits. All right, we're beginning to wrap up. So I just kind of like to leave it on this next slide of why to choose Gies Business. But I also want to check in with Ashley one more time. Ashley, any advice that you have for our prospective students, either about the application process or to ease any of their potential fears that they may have?
I would just say if you have any, burning questions or concerns, just to reach out to the admissions professionals. I'm sure that they could help pair you with a student that you could talk to more one-on-one. I think talking to current students probably is very helpful. But overall, I would say, the admissions process, I found it pretty easy to get through, and it was prompt responses. I was able to kind of get started right away. So I would say just, there's not a lot of disadvantage just going ahead and apply and kind of getting the process started.
Great, thanks. And absolutely, we'd always be happy to connect you with a current student or an alum of the program. We can match you based on some of your interests or specific questions that you have. So certainly feel free to reach out to us there. All right, I'm going to put up one more poll, see how you're feeling after today's presentation. We've got just a couple of minutes left, and we'll jump into another presentation for another program, but we do want to see how you're feeling. I'm going to check the chat really quick. We've got just a couple of minutes, but it looks like Natalie's been answering most of our questions here. Natalie, anything that I've missed that you'd like me to chat out loud about, feel free to share.
No, I think we've had some great questions, but I think I've answered them all. If I did miss any, please feel free to shout them out here.
Okay, great. It looks like most people are happy. I see one just popped up. Is this an accredited course? That's a great question. So individual courses or programs are actually not accredited, but Gies College of Business is accredited by the AACSB, which is the top accreditation that any business school can have. Olivia asked about summer deadlines. We were actually just discussing those yesterday. Olivia, the summer application will open around the start of February of 2025. The probably deadline for summer 2025 will be early March, and we'll get those posted fairly shortly on our website. All right. Okay, so it looks like we're doing good. I want to thank everyone once again for joining us today. One final slide. If you have any questions that we missed or you'd like to be to go over on a one-on-one session, we're going to put our contact information up here as well as a QR code. Natalie's also dropped it into the chat. So thanks again for joining us today, and we hope to see your application soon.